Hello, and I thought to myself, I have to do an unboxing. And I know that some people, perhaps are not that bothered, but for me, the packaging is very important. And look at that. Now, of course, there's some other brands that have boxes similar to this, and so it's a very similar experience. But I want to show you how nice everything is. Now, of course, I have another one of these Speedies here, and but I was very fortunate to get my hands on this racing dial version of the Speedy, and of course, this model is now discontinued, and it's difficult to get hold of. You have to go to the grey market. And so there's a reason why I've got the black dial on that side and the racing on this side. But let me put that down for a moment to once again show you this box. I mean, this is very premium stuff. It isn't wood, I don't think, but it certainly feels like wood. Even the clasp there feels great. And of course here we've got the instruction manual and then the birth certificate, the warranty, etc. And this little lid lifts up. And inside you've got this little box that doubles up as the placeholder, and inside I have my replacement links, and we know that these things are such a big deal in the future. I've said before, the quality is fabulous, and on this side I've got the tag and the stickers. So that is the Omega box, and I thought I do want to show you because it is part of the experience. And I think I remembered looking at one brand that had decided to do away with these boxes and present the watch in a edible, biodegradable, cardboard thing that you could probably eat. And I thought, I don't really want that. What I want is a lump of high quality packaging like this that weighs a ton. I think that's 2 kilograms. Anyway, what do we have here? We have the racing dial Speedy Mark II, and I've just noticed, look at the time, it's actually 10 past 10 on my watch, which is the default position for the presentation of watches, but it actually is 10 past 10 in the morning because I've got the black one on here. Now look at that. For me, this is one of the best looking chronographs that you can buy. And also, you are looking at something that was released in 1970. And this was Omega's latest iteration of the Moonwatch dial design. If you've ever seen a Speedmaster, a man on the moon watch, you'll notice that dial is almost the same as it. It's a very classic, iconic chronograph. And what Omega did is that they put it into this beast of a case, and I think you call it a pillow cushion case style with the built-in lugs, and it's as thick as anything, but it looks so good. Look at that. And this release was 2014, and Omega built the strap and the buckle and the case, the dial. In fact, they really jazzed up the whole lot. It got a V8 50 power reserve chronometer movement, and they re-released this design, but this is so close to the original. If you were to Google a Speedmaster Mark II with the original manual wind, the aesthetic is almost identical. The only real change is it doesn't have a date complication, and I really like the date complication. What they did with this model is that you actuate the date with a pusher on the side here, and it's just something else that I like. I don't know what happened there, but my camera froze. Anyway, so the the design of it, for me, once again, is very 1970. But it's basically, the way I see it, it is such a iconic time for Omega. They just put the man on the moon wearing an Omega Speedmaster. This is the Speedmaster Mark II, so this was the next version of that aesthetic. And for me, they they really nailed it with this. I suppose I should take off the black dial as well. It is interesting. I imagine some people prefer the black dial like this, and this has its own merits. The black and white is very high contrast and does have, that very solid Speedmaster Man on the Moon watch aesthetic. But for me, the racing dial, which has this lovely grey matte colouring, and the indice edges and the chronograph markers are in orange, with the chronograph minute hand. And in some lights it looks reddish, in others it looks orange, and in others burnt orange. It is lovely. The colour of it is perfect, and it's got this little Easter egg type of thing built into it, because if you look inside there, you might just be able to see this orange hue, and it's actually a ring between the bezel and the sapphire crystal, as I understand it. And I'm sure that they have this ring on the black dial version, and but of course it's going to appear as dark coloured, and I think you can see that. But how cool is that? That is really cool. I'm interested to know how I'm going to feel after a while, when I've worn both, which one I think is my preference. Right now it's probably this, because it's even more sporty, and it just looks so good. I mean, for me, the Speedmaster Man on the Moon watch and this, I think this is the best looking chronograph watch that there is out there, and even out there today. Of course we have the Rolex Daytona that looks great, but I think this looks better. I mean, I really do. This for me has the 1970 cool American vibe thing going on. I'm using my silly words here. I don't really know, but for me there is a style iconic vibe here, especially with the racing dial here. Now, one of the reasons that I actually held the black dial out also is there is one other very interesting feature difference, or design difference. Now, marks out of 10 for the person that can see what that difference is, putting the colorway aside. So it's nothing to do with the colors, but it's to do with a design element of these watches. Now, it was something that I noticed, but I thought in the pictures of the racing dial, I thought maybe the watch I was looking at in the illustration had a photoshopped date wheel, because I've just given you a clue there. The actual date, I'm assuming the date wheel is identical, but the date font is slightly different. On the black dial, the date font is slimmer than the date font on the racing dial. Now, I understand that that is normal, and it was designed. It might be because the racing dial was manufactured later. Now, even though these were both born last year in the same month, so they're recently very new watches, but that was the date that they were taken from the AD. So they might have been manufactured sooner than that. But the serial number of this racing dial is later than the black dial, which would indicate that maybe they updated the date wheel font. I do not know. but it is a very quirky, interesting little thing. And you can probably see on the camera there that the 5 on the racing dial here is that the font is larger than the racing dial here. Now the date aperture window appears to be the same, so I'm deducing that it's the font that is actually larger. So there you go. Now the other very important thing, and the reason why I'm holding these watches up, is because I set them both to a reference time. Now I'm just looking at my computer at the side here, because I've got the accurate seconds. Now I can tell you that right now, which is unbelievable, this appears to be, I'll wait until this hits the 45, and that is very, very interesting. Now it appears that both of these they were set at the same time the day before yesterday, and again yesterday, and in a 24-hour period you can see that they're actually beating away in synchronism. So that is amazing, really. In 24 hours the differential between the seconds is negligible. They are almost identical. And when I actually match these two up against my reference time that is supposedly accurate, it's the time that was, so they are literally, I can't believe it, they're absolutely bang on. So not only are these two the same as each other, but they're absolutely bang on to my reference time, to the second. So I'm actually watching it to see that it can't be true. But yeah, you're not going to believe this. In the last 24 hours, both of these are within half a second the same, but they're also within half a second accurate to my reference time. So isn't that amazing? So these are described as chronometers, and we are definitely getting better than chronometer performance there, because right now I'm getting half a second between both of them. So these are two independent timepieces. They're both chronometers, and they're both roughly the same age, which is not very, I mean, they're both very young, so only a couple of months old. But the time set to a reference time is also within half a second. I say half a second because that's my ability to judge the time accurately. So isn't that very strange? I've got two watches here beating away, and not only are they both almost identical within half a second, they're actually within half a second of a reference time. So that is very, very unusual. It's fluky, I suppose. What also is fluky is when I started this video, I was at 10 past 10, and look, I've got a coffee here. I'm going to take a. When I started the video, yes, it was 10 past 10, and on video you actually saw me do it in real time. The time check between the both of them, yeah. I'm just wondering how it can be so accurate. Anyway, I am not grumbling. Isn't that amazing? Both watches are within half a second of each other in a 24-hour period, and they're both within half a second of the reference time that's supposedly highly accurate. So that is just amazing. Anyway, this is the unboxing of the Racing Dial Speedy Mark II, the coolest looking watch on planet Earth, and the best looking chronograph watch on planet Earth. And look at that. My goodness, I imagine if Omega re-released this, it would be a hit, or at least it, that's my opinion. But look at that. And I actually emailed Omega and I said, why don't you make the Mark III again, the Mark IV, the Mark 4.5 and the Mark V once again, because I'm sure that the Omega Speedmaster lovers out there would be interested in the re-release of these complicated, very cool 1970s designed iconic timepieces. Anyway, there you go. So I've covered the accuracy, the dial differences, just the cool design. I mean, I can't say anything else other than what a cool design. Look at that. I suppose I should put this on my other wrist one last time to show you. I am interested in what people think. Do they prefer the black dial or the racing dial? Look at that. So cool. I imagine that some people might consider this a complete collection as well, especially if you like the Speedmaster and you like chronographs. I can't see you beating this. So I'm very pleased that I've got my hands on this. But look at that. Anyway, I've got to put this down because I'm probably driving you crazy. But there you go. The Brad Pitt of all Omega Speedmasters. And in fact, one of the best, most iconic watches in the world ever. 50 years old. You can see a theme here. I do like these classic iconic designs. Anyway, there you go. Speedmaster Mark II Racing Dial, the coolest watch on the planet.